I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how to make your ex regret dumping you. So if you're going through a breakup, one of the things you're probably thinking about all the time and hoping for all the time is that your ex regrets their decision. It's totally understandable because most people feel the same way when somebody ends the relationship. I have been doing this for a long time, and so I get a lot of people that tell me that's what they're hoping for. Now, if you're new to the channel, I am a therapist, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been a therapist for over 20 years, and before that, I was a behavior analyst. We're very passionate about what we do at the channel, and we are all professionals here. Victoria has her master's degree, is also a therapist, and the late, great Miss Margaret was a clinician for over 40 years. So trust me, when you're coming to our channel, you're going to get professionals explaining relationships and breakups and how they're all kind of tied to mental health. So you're feeling devastated that somebody has ended the relationship and it really hurts your ego. It really just makes you spiral in ways that you've probably never felt in your life, at least as an adult. Because a lot of times how we're feeling after a breakup is very similar to how we felt in our early childhood. Things we don't remember, rejection that came up in our early childhood that traumatized us. So when we experience a lot of trauma in our childhood, it leads to very painful breakups in our romantic relationships. Okay, and I understand this because I grew up in a home where, well, several homes. My mom was married 3 times. My dad was married 3 times. And fortunately, my dad, when he passed away, he had been married for like 30-something years and was very happy. So it was great to see that. But the reason I'm so passionate about helping people through breakups is because they devastated my life. With my parents, each being married 3 times. And for myself personally, I found them extremely painful and I didn't understand why. And so I was really determined to understand what happens with people. And I know what it's like for every fiber in your being to be obsessed with making your ex regret the breakup. So I'm going to talk about this today because it's a process, okay? It's not something that happens right away. But, you want to think about what's driving you, okay? To sit down and understand this stuff and think about this stuff, right? You're hurt. Your ego is bruised. You feel rejected. It's very overwhelming. And in fact, many of you probably feel like you're dying. The anxiety is so bad. You probably feel like literally you're about to die. That's the kind of trauma that comes up because this is all tied to human beings and our ability to feel safe, our bonds, right? Our relationships with other people are what keep us safe. It keeps us alive. Biologically, that's how we're hardwired, okay? Like, birds, they can fly away. Well, human beings don't have fangs or claws or prickly pines or spikes. We have our relationships. Our bonds, our group is what keeps us feeling safe and alive. And so when you're feeling this level of anxiety, it's all related to that, which is all related to not feeling safe in our early childhood. It's very important that you understand this stuff because if you're really wanting to understand how to make your ex regret the breakup, you're going to see the stuff that we're going to cover today and on my channel gets really deep into this stuff. So the biggest emotions you're probably feeling right now is anxiety, fear, hurt, sadness, rejection. All of that is completely normal, and your self-esteem is probably so bad right now. It may never have felt as low as it does right now, and I get that, right? Especially, and this is what you want to start to think about, is if in your childhood you had caregivers that weren't emotionally attuned to you. If they maybe were alcoholics or worked all the time, or they didn't communicate well. Maybe your parents were divorced early. All of those things are going to have a big impact on your ability to feel secure and confident, especially after a breakup. So when you're hurting, you probably want your ex to hurt as well, right? If you're honest with yourself, you don't want to feel like, well, I'm hurting over them, but they don't care about me. No, you want to feel like, well, I'm hurting over them, but at least I know they're hurting too. And, you probably want them to feel like, well, they made the wrong decision, right? That's big. How could they do this to me? I don't understand how they could do this. I want them to regret this. I want them to come crawling back. Now, I don't like the idea of having somebody crawling back. I want you guys to act like adults. And if you're really in a good place, it's not about crawling back and begging. It's about coming back and repairing things like an adult. But it's very important to understand that if you're going to make your ex regret their decision, your behavior is absolutely critical. I cannot stress this enough. You're not going to make your ex regret the breakup with a lot of weak, clingy behaviors. And I'm going to get into some of those, but I'm going to focus on what you have to do, okay? But you have to understand that if you're only watching no contact videos, you're not going to educate yourself and learn. You're not going to grow in this period where you're not talking with them and be able to reattract them in a healthy way. I've done this for many years. I see who's successful and who is not. You've got to focus your energy on being positive, okay? So let's get into those, okay? I just wanted you to understand some of what goes on with us in the breakup and what drives us. But the first thing that you absolutely have to do is give them the breakup. This is critical. Without giving them the breakup, they're not going to regret anything. I mean, I'm telling you that right now. You have to stop trying to change their mind. If you don't, you are not going to see any progress. It's very, very, very unlikely things will change unless and until you give them the breakup. Because we're trying to make them regret their decision. Okay? There's no regret if you're reaching out to them because they haven't really lost anything. Okay? Think about it. If you keep reaching out to them, and I don't care if it's even once a month, if you reach out to them, that doesn't allow them to experience regret. So you must stop reaching out at all costs. It's the only way you're going to turn this around. Okay, let's talk about regret, okay? Because you're wanting them to regret it. So what does that mean? What is the definition of regret? Well, it has to do with something that has happened, okay? Something that is done, okay? It's a missed opportunity, a loss. However, if you're reaching out to them for any reason, it's to try and change your mind about the breakup, it's not going to make them feel the loss. There is no loss. There's no regret if there's no loss. So do you understand why you have to stop reaching out? Please, please, please. I'm telling you this. I've seen so many people make their situations worse by not following simple steps. Okay, so this is another huge mistake and something you absolutely cannot do. Do not make any effort to manipulate them. okay? The more you try to change their mind, the more they're going to resist you. Okay? They're just going to become more entrenched in their decision the more you keep trying to look for excuses and reasons to change their mind. Okay? And you know what the coaches teach out there. It's weak behavior. Handwritten letters, clean slate messages, good reminder texts, grand gestures. It's all weak behavior. Okay? It's like practically begging in certain ways, okay? Please do not do those things. If you see a guy saying, no contact will make your ex forget about you, I'm telling you that. No, do not listen, okay? You're gonna get a restraining order on you, okay? I had a guy last week who got a restraining order on him by following a coach that was telling him to forget no contact doesn't work. No. There's nothing more powerful than no contact, okay, or no reaching out, because we're trying to make them anxious about losing you and feeling the loss, okay? So if you're trying to do anything to manipulate them, you're going to be like a used car salesman, all right? Have you ever had somebody try to sell you something? You know that uncomfortable feeling? It feels icky. You're like, enough of this. That's what you're going to be doing to your ex. That's the feeling you're giving them when you send them these things. Most of the time, a handwritten letter gets ignored. And sometimes, if you send a clean slate message, the best I see usually is they politely reply. But it doesn't gain any traction, which is why I'm telling you guys not to do it. All of those things don't really gain you traction. Allowing them to reach out to you when they're ready is the best way to get that traction, okay? So think about that uncomfortable feeling for a moment. Somebody's trying to get you to buy something. Doesn't it feel like, get me out of here? I don't want to talk to this person. The dynamic feels awkward. It feels off. There's nothing there that makes you want to stay. It's like, get me out of this situation. You want to remove yourself. That's what you're going to do if you keep reaching out to your ex, okay? I know your instinct is to try and repair, okay? But in that moment, it makes things worse. You need both parties to want to fix the relationship. And if they're not ready to do that right now, you back off, leave them alone, and give them time and space to get to that place, because they will. Okay, that's important to understand. Many exes do reach out. Okay, not every ex is going to reach out. But most of the time, when I see people get back together, it's because the ex reaches out to them and then they spark things up again. You have to understand that human beings unconsciously see value in each other. But the interesting thing about it is we really determine our own value in a lot of ways. Whether you realize it or not, you're determining your value with your own behavior. And the more that you do those weak things to try and change their mind and manipulate them, the lower your value looks to them. And you have to really think about this. If you're confident in who you are, when somebody ends a relationship, you try and talk to them reasonably, see if they, how they feel about it or why, but then you back off and you say, listen, I understand. If you change your mind, give me a call. And then you leave them alone. But many of us have attachment issues, okay? That trauma from our childhood. So what do? We kind of regress back to being a child in that helpless state where you're like begging your parents, right? Where you've seen kids beg for their parents or beg their parents for something, right? And it looks very insecure, right? Because children can't take care of themselves. So they need their parents to take care of them. So they have to try and get their needs met from their parents. But as adults, we're supposed to be more independent. The more independent you are, the more confident you are. Now, I'm not saying to be avoidant, okay? Independent in the sense that you can take care of yourself. You can take care of your needs. You love your connections. You cherish them. You take care of them. You value them. But you're okay if somebody doesn't want to be in your life, okay? So if you wind up begging your ex, all it's going to do is make you look insecure and make them feel bad for you. Now, think about this. Have you ever felt bad for somebody you know? Maybe somebody that was interested in you and they really liked you, but you weren't feeling the connection? Did that make you feel any spark or attraction for them? Probably not. So, you don't want them to feel bad for them. You look like you're beneath them, like you're putting them on a pedestal. In some weird way, it feels like they're losing someone with less value than they are. Now, I'm not saying that they are more valuable. That's how we're kind of projecting through our behavior. So, in that moment, you're showing that you value them more than they value you, okay? And I had somebody recently say, and the more you try and change their mind, the more it's gonna feel that way. And it's a feeling sometimes. It's not even like a thought that they're having, it's just a feeling. So the most confident thing that you can do is to go into no contact. And again, I'm meaning no reaching out, okay? I have a lot of videos on no contact, but I'm simply saying don't reach out. So you wanna prove them wrong, okay? If you want your ex to regret their decision, you need to prove them wrong. How do you prove them wrong? Well, you need to think about the complaints that they had in their relationship. You can't be in denial about this stuff. A lot of people are in denial. They think that they were such a great, wonderful, perfect partner. When the reality is, they probably didn't pay attention to their partner, ignored them at times, smothered them, were controlling, didn't really appreciate them, and took them for granted. So you want to think about the negative things they had to say about you and how accurate they may or may not have been. Now, they may not always be accurate, but you got to start to reflect on this kind of stuff. This is why I have the Creative Healing course and the workbooks. There are thousands of questions. Okay, workbooks 1 through 10 is almost 600 pages. It's like 97 videos. The Creative Healing course is massive. There are thousands of questions to think about because that helps you grow and it helps you heal your attachment issues. This is absolutely critical, guys. If you want to prove your ex wrong, that they made a mistake and you want them to regret it, you have got to level up. Okay? Wasting all day watching what they post on social media or when they're online or offline, these different messenger apps, or watching just no contact videos is not helping you level up. You're the only person that can do it, but I have put out tons of amazing content that is truly meant to change your life. So, one of the big things that the Creative Healing course and my workbooks are going to help you do is master emotional self-control. This is absolutely critical to reattracting your ex. If you think no contact is hard, wait till you have some conversations with them. Wait till they reach out to you and all of a sudden everything that you learned, you completely forget it. Your mind is going to go blank. You're going to completely forget it. You're going to get scared, anxious, panic, and make all the mistakes that I tell you not to do in the videos. But the people that focus and do the most work in no contact are able to master that self-control, because it's not going to be easy getting in front of your ex again. You're going to get anxious. You're going to be scared. And then you're going to become unglued. And sometimes all it takes is a few comments from them, meeting face to face, where it completely falls apart. Some people don't even get past the initial reach out from their ex before completely blowing things. So when we do a coaching, stick to the plan, guys, because I always talk to you about these things and you have to implement it in real time. Okay, that's the hard part, is taking what you're learning and implementing it in real time. But the harder that you're working right now, the more likely you're going to be able to do this. Okay, so you got to stay focused and understand that this is going to be a process. Now, one of the big problems that you're going to experience and feel is that you're not going to feel as motivated when your ex's interest level looks lower or when you feel hopeless about a situation. I'm telling you guys, I have seen so many people ruin their chances because they gave up on the personal growth because they thought their ex's interest level was low and they weren't coming back, and then they fell apart. Please handle no contact, no reaching out like you're going to have another opportunity, and you want to be prepared. The more prepared you are, the more likely you're going to turn it around. Now, in the beginning, it's fine to do the personal growth for them, but you really want to do this for you. You should be the main person in your life. You should be the star in your own movie. I've been saying this for a long time, guys. I know it's tough, but you really want to make that your focus. So part of the way you can do that is by turning your weaknesses into your strengths. Look at the areas that people may have complained about, your exes have complained about, or things that people have told you, or just think about the things that have triggered you in your life and made you lose emotional self-control or get angry or controlling or manipulative. Take a really good look and use that to motivate you, okay? Maybe you've had negative people in your life and they said, oh, you can't do this, or you're never going to change, you're always going to be the same. Sometimes people that need that kind of motivation. Prove them wrong. That always feels good, to prove people wrong. Another big thing that you're going to have to do if you want your ex to regret the breakup is handle your emotions masterfully, okay? You really have to master your emotions, and it's not going to be easy. You cannot be angry. You cannot be bitter. You cannot lose emotional self-control and lash out at them. Many of you are going to see your exes post things on social media, and you're going to feel very tempted to reach out and get angry, especially if it's them posting out with somebody new, dating somebody new. Please do not lash out. It's going to make them think, oh, still got them. And they're going to feel all kind of power over you because they see they still have power over you to get you to react. Never react like that. Never respond to anything that you see. Please. It's only going to make things worse. Okay, so this is important, and I kind of touched upon it earlier, but it's really, really important to stay positive and optimistic. Now, many of you guys are going to want to post all kinds of positive, optimistic things on social media. I kind of advise against that in a lot of situations. At least disappear for a while. I think it's probably better to kind of go radio silent and completely disappear from posting for a bit. It gives them some time to really miss you, okay? You don't be negative, okay? No posting memes or songs or things that are implying you're insulting them or that they're narcissistic. Please don't do those things. They're not going to help your chances. One of the biggest predictors of success is optimism. In fact, I came across some information recently, a study that I'm going to possibly share in a future video on unrealistic expectations, that they're so incredibly positive about the optimism of turning their life around that keeps them focused, right? And so when you're doing the creative healing course, say to yourself, if you feel stuck or confused on things, I'm going to focus on this thing until I get it. And then you move forward, okay? That's how you're going to be successful, okay? You don't want to look sad and hurt and angry on social media where they're going to feel guilty about things. And you don't want to look desperate either. Sometimes people come across as too desperate on there by posting all kinds of memes and positive stuff. Like I said, less tends to be more in these situations because it tends to be too obvious that it's about them, okay? Focus on your passion right now. Focus on the things that you really enjoy. I know it's tough when you're going through the breakup. You don't tend to enjoy most things, but focus on the personal growth. And as you are growing and learning and healing, those things will start to come back to you, and you'll naturally start to feel more positive and prioritize those things that drive you in life, that ambition. And because it's very attractive to be ambitious. So if you're focused on, taking that class or, starting that business or whatever it is that you were trying to do, maybe you were trying to work on something in your house or some projects or something like that, or take that vacation, whatever it is that you wanted to do, that is going to look attractive to your ex. Okay? And they're going to, when they reach out and those things will naturally come up, they'll think about that and they'll miss those things. And it will help them create a new narrative of how they see you, right? Their mind will slowly shift and change, not trying to force it, naturally when you are kind of showing this new, more confident side of yourself. Okay, one last major point I really want to talk about here is you cannot be too available. Don't look too eager. Don't be too available. Those things are going to turn your ex off. If they reach out to you and your interest level is still as high as it was when you were together, what does that teach them? It teaches them that they can break up with you, disappear for however long it's been, and you're going to be eager to have them back? No, you don't want to do that. You need to let them see that they have to show you that they can work this out with you like an adult. You want to take time. You certainly don't want to chase, okay? That is just going to reek of desperation, and it will make them lose attraction for you very, very quickly. Remember, you're trying to show your value, okay? And that's through confidence. And if you're displaying confidence by taking your time and seeing if this is healthy for you and right to turn this around, then you would be interested in it. And you want to go about doing those things the right way. And if you really have been focused on personal growth, it's going to be easy, or a lot easier. Sometimes it's not easy, but it's certainly going to be easier to display those things when you're getting in front of them. And because you don't want it to feel like it is at the time of the breakup. You want it to feel new and fun again, right? So remember all these things when you're trying to make your ex regret their decision, because it's very, very important. But if you are focused on personal growth, I promise you, you're going to be far more likely to turn this around than anything else. All right. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can get my knowledge workbooks or my creative healing course only on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.